Welcome back to the channel, guys. My name is Amit, and in today's video we're going to be talking about my 4-month update of the hair transplant that I got from Turkey. To start off, for those who don't know, I got not one but 2 hair transplants from Istanbul, Turkey in the last year. I got my first one last year in March from my hairline and my mid-scalp, and I went back the second time this year in April for a second hair transplant for my crown. Initially, for the first time, I got 6,100 grafts extracted from my donor area and placed onto my hairline and mid-scalp. But for the second time, I went back and got 4,000 grafts extracted this time from my donor area and placed onto my crown. Now, if you do the calculations, that's 10,000 grafts for both surgeries, which of course is a ridiculous amount, but my donor area seems to have healed pretty well from that. And to be honest, I'm just waiting to see if this second surgery has helped my hair grow on my crown. I have a bunch of other videos on this channel showcasing tips and suggestions on what you should and should not do after a hair transplant or even before. So if you're someone who's looking for some advice, definitely check out the channel. Definitely like this video and subscribe to the channel, as I keep posting as much as I can about a hair transplant, as well as you can follow me and watch me along my journey to get a full head of hair. Sorry. So let's get right into the update. It's been 4 months since I got the hair transplant done, and in all honesty, I feel like it's a very slow process. I do, however, see some growth more than I did last month on my crown, but again, it seems to be much slower than it was last year, how it was on my hairline and my mid-scalp. I always like to see the differences between the two, and I definitely know that this time around it's not as fast as before. Now, another thing to note is that the crown does usually take a much longer time to grow out, which is literally my only saving grace at this point. There are moments where I think that, was this hair transplant a success or a failure? The first one to me was a big success because I have more hair on my head than I ever had before. Definitely seeing such slow progress at the 4th month does kind of give me a little worry sometimes, but I did reach out to the consultants at my clinic and I asked them, is this normal? Because I wanted to see if maybe there was something wrong with the hair transplant that I had. Maybe I lost more grafts than I thought, but they gave me the assurance that it does take more time for the crown and you just have to be patient. Gotta trust that process. Just basically I have to take my own advice and yeah, just hold on for it to actually happen. Historically, in the 5th to 6th month, I start seeing more growth, at least from last year. So again, there's hope, but I know for a fact that once I hit the 8th, 9th, and 10th month, that's when I'll really see more substantial progress. In all honesty, I'm not expecting too much of a difference with my crown, but again, having some sort of coverage would make me very satisfied and happy. Okay, so let's jump into the 360 view of how I'm looking right now, from my hairline, my mid-scalp, my crown, as well as my donor area. So here we can see my hairline, which is holding up pretty well, I must say. I did add a few hundred grafts at the front of my hairline to just give it a little more density, which I think it is slowly starting to show here. We then move on to the sides of the donor area now. And despite recently getting another haircut, I think it looks very presentable and not patchy at all, especially for 10,000 grafts being extracted from this area. Now you can see the back is also pretty much in the same boat. There are tiny hairs starting to grow on my crown, which I'll show in a couple of close-ups later on, but it still will take some time. No scars are seen on the donor area at the back either. And lastly, on the other side is also pretty much the same. I was worried about how patchy it would be if I had gone any shorter than this, but in all honesty, I think it's growing out pretty well and I'm still presentable when I go out. And now we'll check out some close-ups of the crown as well as the hairline and mid-scalp. So you can see me brushing my hands through my hair. In all honesty, the hairline is looking as thick as ever. As I did mention, I did get a small top-up of 200 grafts in this area, and it looks like it's coming along in nicely. As for the mid-scalp, I did have about 600 grafts added here to increase density, and it definitely looks like it's more than it was last year already. Overall, I'm pretty satisfied with how this progress is coming along. Now for the crown, it definitely is much slower than the hairline and mid-scalp, but I do still see some progress compared to the previous months. There are some areas on the crown that I feel I should be seeing a little more growth in, but I'll have to keep monitoring it over the next few months to see how well the results will be. And now I'll show you a monthly progress of how my scalp is looking from the 1st month of my hair transplant up until the 4th month. Month 1 is where it all started. The head was looking pretty bald. Month 2 is where the shedding phase began, where all my new grafts basically shed off. Month 3 is where I started seeing more growth, especially in my hairline and mid-scalp fairly quickly. And now month 4, you can start to see tiny hairs grow at the back of the crown, but there's still a ways to go. Some aftercare that I've been using, I actually just recently made a video about the entirety of my aftercare that I currently use. I'll link that in the description below, but for the gist of it, I am still using my finasteride. I am using my minoxidils. I'm taking a bunch of vitamins every morning. I'll list them all down here. Just check that video out. It has all the full detailed aftercare that I am using. One thing to know is that I have been starting to use more newer products just to test out to see maybe it could help with density on my hair. I've been using some new shampoos and conditioners from a company called DS Laboratories. Seems to have helped me. I've also made a video about them. I'll also link it below. For me personally, I'm just trying out to see what works best and what combination of products will help me have my full head of hair. Of course, if you guys have any suggestions on certain products to use, let me know in the comments. I'm happy to check them out and maybe even try them out too. I also have started using my fibers again. I've also made a video showing you how I get ready from start to finish. In that video, I showcase how I'm using my fibers now on my head. From last year, I used to use it all over my scalp, from the hairline and mid scalp, as well as the crown, but for now I've stopped using it completely on the hairline and mid scalp, and I only use it on my crown. And again, in all honesty, when I look at my crown now, I definitely see some growth coming from it, so I'm not using an excessive amount of the fibers anymore, but I think over time I'll start using less and less of it. For now, fibers are still the way to go, especially if you're looking for some density on your hair. If you are wondering what type of fibers I'm using, I have them all in the description as well. Some of the ones that I recommend that I think are pretty useful for you as well. I did also make a video about the emotional impact of how one feels when you get a hair transplant, and I've been reflecting on that a lot lately. I think that it is really important to make sure you're on the right emotional level as well as mentality towards getting a hair transplant, because it is no joke. It is not as easy as some people claim it is to be, especially those who are on YouTube or even on TikTok or wherever they are. They promote it in such a way that it is such a great experience, but in all honesty, the first few months is not. It's not that fun to be able to go through this ugly duckling phase and sit through and thinking that there's no hope. It does pull down your confidence quite a bit, but over time, as the months go by, you'll start to see that it was just part of the process, and over time you will get to that point where you are more satisfied with how you're looking. It's basically like going to the gym. At the beginning, you are not in the best shape of your life, but over time, give yourself those couple of months, get out of that phase of not looking like how you want to look, put in the hard work, and you end up looking the way exactly you want to look. All I can say is have faith, don't give up. And I'm also kind of telling this to myself while I'm making this video. I do think that my crown will start growing sooner than later, but yeah, just these moments sometimes make me question it. I do try to spread positivity on this channel and try to help people as well who are looking to get a hair transplant. So I do have faith that it will work out in the end. I think that's all for today's updates. I also do have a hair transplant one-on-one consultation service if you're interested to have a conversation with me about your own hair transplants, or we can even compare our progress. I do recommend booking some time with me. The links are in the description. There is a one-time fee, but you get unlimited follow-ups after that. And I also help recommend even more products that I think are useful for not just you, but also for me. And I also have 2 options. You can choose a 30 minutes or a 60-minute time with me. So if you get a chance, definitely check that link in the description below. Okay, so I think I'm gonna wrap this up now. Thanks for sticking around. Thanks for clicking on my face. Thanks for watching all my videos. Appreciate all of you. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already, and check out the rest of the videos on my channel. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.